WGNS.
Rick and Bubba.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Hey, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Wednesday edition of the Roundtable Show. We're usually on Tuesdays, and we did a little switcheroo, and we're here on Wednesday. It's the Rick and Wayne Show. Hope you enjoy our show with us today. And Mr. Wayne, how are you, buddy?
Good morning. Doing well. I hope the Raider media blitz yesterday, I hope it went well. And, I'm glad we switched around a little bit, but it's a little odd being on Wednesday morning.
I know. I got up this morning and told my mom I was head of the radio station. She says, why? You were supposed to have that yesterday.
I did that with the grandchildren as well, and they're not usually in tune to the date, but today is the start of school, so they had a clue. So hope you had a good weekend. I tell you what, got to be on the water Saturday, and the water on Priest was the best it's been the entire season. I guess maybe because of the rain and the heat, and it was just had a great day on the water. So, but if we can get the people to slow down on I-24, I-40, and the jet skis on Priest, I think our lifespan will probably climb. It's
I
crazy.
asked you about the jet skis because I had a friend of mine complaining online about how bad they were, and you backed that up. So they're absolutely.
You know,
horrendous.
we have a slip at Four Corners, and we load up and make sure kids have the life jackets on, and we tool out and go over to
It's a
Pool Knob.
What's the boat's name? The Minnow or something? Isn't that 3-hour tours?
No, it's named after my granddaughter. We call it the Riley May.
Oh, that's awesome.
So she gets a kick out of that. So, but we just float and anchor at Pool Knob in that little cove, and just kind of hang there for a while. But you can see all the jet skis and the ski boats just hauling butt up and down the channel. It's crazy. It's scary. We have to bring our A game to watch out, especially since we have the grandchildren with us.
Wow.
So, but good weekend for you.
I did. I had some family come in. My wife's had some cousins come in from Mississippi, and they actually went over to Gatlinburg and had all kinds of pictures of bears in town. They were in town, and I didn't realize we haven't been up there in a year or so, but man, downtown Gatlinburg, and it seemed like every day they were seeing 2 or 3 bears in downtown. So I don't know if that's drought stuff and they're seeking out food or what, but
maybe so.
It was amazing.
Yep. Hey, football time. So we're here.
It is.
So looking forward to the high school and college kicking in. So, Brother Rick, got a great friend with us this morning. Someone I've known for quite a while, and has served the community and the state, and I guess even the nation very well. And so pleased to have former State Senator Jim Tracy with us. And Senator, good morning.
Good morning. I was just thinking, Wayne, I'm glad your picture wasn't on those signs with Coach Mason. They've got those signs out all over trying to promote Coach Mason coming to MTSU, and the excitement is pretty good. I know we're here to talk about other things, but, new generation, new group. He's recruited a lot of new guys.
Sure has.
It's going to be interesting.
Well, all of college athletics with NIL and portal, and now the revenue sharing. It's a brave new world.
It is. But I'm glad to be here with you. We'll talk about whatever you want to. It's always fun to come on and talk to you and Rick, and I won't tell any real bad stories on you.
Well, I tell you what, why don't you start out by telling bad stories on yourself? You can talk about childhood, family, but work. We have you have that in common with Rick and I, and of course, I hope at some point in time the coaching and the officiating and your state service as a senator, and of course you went to D.C. for a little while as well. Didn't you?
I actually worked out of Nashville most of the time, but I did work for USDA, in 17 through about 20. So, but no, I'll tell you a little bit. I grew up in West Tennessee, a little town called Savannah on Pickwick Lake. Y'all were talking about the lake, and
yes, sir.
We spent a lot of time out on the lake. Pontoon boats is sort of my favorite. I like pontoon. I have been out on a few speed boats, and that sort of took my breath away a few times. And but that's where I grew up. My dad was a county extension agent at 4-H, and he worked with farmers. So that was my background, agriculture. And there I was real active in 4-H and those kind of programs, but I got involved in sports. I love sports. Played all 3 sports in high school, really concentrated on football and baseball my senior year, and wound up playing 4 years of baseball in college, 2 at Freed Hardeman, 2 at UT Martin, and then got out of UT Martin and thought I wanted to be a coach, and I coached for about 6 years and really enjoyed it, and moved around a little bit and coached, and then decided that I wanted to get in the insurance business, and and I got in the insurance business in Columbia, and got into management, and then eventually came back to Shelbyville, and I spent about 30 years in Shelbyville running my own insurance business, and got involved then at the school board, ran for school board in 96. That sort of got the taste of being a public servant, and did that for 9 years, and then ran for the state senate in 2004. I guess that's really when you and I got to know each other. Sir. And won that race and served 13 years in the state senate, and it was a great time at that time from 2004 to 2017. And so I had a really good run at state senate, and at that time I represented Smyrna, most of Rutherford County. I represented Bedford County, Moore County, Lincoln County, Marshall County. We changed our district some, but so you got to meet people, and I love meeting people and visiting with people, and got to know Bud Rakes at that time. Spent a lot of time at Smyrna High School. So, Smyrna was a small town very similar to the town that I grew up in, Savannah. Everybody, it was just a very close community. Now Smyrna's changed some, it's grown, but that's the way I grew up. And
exploded is the term I can.
Yeah, it is exploded. It's really changed since 2004. Really, Murfreesboro. Look what Murfreesboro's done. Sure. But so that's my background. But I spent a little over 3 years with USDA Rural Development, where I was the state director, where I worked across the state with different small communities, helping them with their water, sewer, and other things. So
siblings?
I got one brother, 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And so he's still living in Shelbyville.
Okay.
I can remember your time with the Senate when I was on the county commission, and I just loved you were down to earth. It felt like I see a division in today's between the commission, especially with a lot of state reps and everything, and you were down to earth and come up and were just respectful to all of us. And I know when I was in, we had a hard time with kind of the same problems they're having right now. It was the BEP funding.
Oh yeah,
and
we changed that.
You knew it backwards and forwards back then, but we knew it had holes in it. But it just took that majority statewide, and that's where I learned pretty quick is there's 95 other counties out there, and you got to kind of look at what's going to fit them all best.
But Rick, I remember that very, very particular. Excuse me. And it really came from y'all and the leadership. I guess Harry Gill was superintendent at the time. Mm-hmm. Talking about the holes in BEP, particularly for fast-growing communities. That's right. Because the BEP funding would pay you in arrears, not in the beginning, and it put a real burden on the county commission doing finances. And y'all brought that out. Actually, I think Bredesen was still the governor at the time, but I could be wrong. Maybe Haslam had just taken over, but we went to the governor, and he said, "You're right. There were some fast-growing communities that really hurt, Rutherford County being one, Williamson County being another one, I think Wilson, all the donut counties around Davidson County."
that's still the case.
Still the
you
case.
know.
You can't catch up.
Yep.
You don't know how many kids you're going to have at the beginning of the school year.
Well, not only that, but when you don't when your impact fees are not enough to pay for the infrastructure of building schools, and this, unfortunately, this county is going to build another jail in the near future, and a high school will be a walk in the park compared to the construction of a jail. Am I correct on that, Rick?
Yeah, they are going to have another jail. That was, I think we've about outlived our lifespan for the one we've got over there now. But it sounds like we're sitting here complaining, but other people would trade places with us in a second.
Sure.
West Tennessee,
some of those towns,
and
some of those small towns
Carroll
over
County,
there struggling.
They're really struggling, and here we are, having what
we're
we
struggling
have.
in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah, the high growth, and you're right, Wayne. When I was there on the school board and also at the state senate level, you think about it, as much growth as there is in Rutherford County, and let's just figure it this way: mostly the taxes you get are the property taxes, and there's no way you can get enough property taxes off a family to pay for the education, because the education's what, $8,000 or $9,000 a student.
I think
right.
it's well
Maybe
over
10.
9.
Maybe
I'd say
10.
It's probably close to 10 now.
10,000 a student, and you're not getting that, so you got to figure that, and when you explain that to people, they sort of get it. But at first, it's a hard, because really county government is big business. You have to have more money coming in than you do going out. And when you had to build schools, and no telling what they cost today. When I was on the school board, it was expensive, but y'all were building them when you were on the school board, probably one a year nearly.
Well, and the last high school, Rockvale, I think was $73 million, and I think very easily today it's double that.
Yeah,
you could build another high school.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, they're throwing around the 150 to 165.
But that's why it's so important, with Rick and you being involved in public service. I mean, it's so important for the way I look at it. Now, some of the guys today may be different, and they may call me names, but you still have to work together. You have to work federally with your congressmen and your senators. You have to work together with your state senators and your state reps and your county commission, your school board. You all have to work together. And it seemed to me we might not agree on everything. When I know we didn't agree on everything. And, Harry Gill sure didn't agree with me when I had to call a few fouls when he was coaching at Smyrna, and he reminded me of that. But we had a lot of good times when he was superintendent. I remember they invited me to meetings at the school board, and we sat down maybe for 2 or 3 hours, and he explained, like you're talking about, the funding to me. And that's how you learn as a legislature. And that takes time.
That's right.
Takes time, but that's what it's all about. And you have to listen to your constituents. We're still public servants. That's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to serve your district. You have your core values of what you believe in, but at the end of the day, you represent your district, and you're going to relay those values when you vote, or you should when you vote. If they don't, they'll vote you out.
No doubt.
I mean, that's really how it works. Yeah. That's why we're in the government we're in. But I really enjoyed it. The people in my district were great, and the way you find out about people is get out in the public, meet them, go to the fish fries.
Yep.
Go to the Rotary Club meetings, get to know people personally, and it makes so much difference. They're not, like you said, Rick, they're not afraid to come up to you and say, "Look, Tracy, that was the dumbest vote I've ever seen you make. Why are you making that vote?" Well, they would do that. And it's just, it's funny. I had a call that's a little late getting here because I had a lady call me from Bradley County this morning to let me know about a man that I worked with for years on different issues. He had passed away last night, and she wanted me to know.
Oh, wow.
And, you build those relationships over the years, and that's what it's all about.
Let's take a step back to your collegiate years. Talk about your experience at UT Martin, and as far as, of course, they've changed their mascot name, I believe.
We were the Pacers when I was there. You're right, the UT Martin Pacers, and I don't know if anybody there knows what a pacer is. You know what a pacer is?
I played against you, but I
it
didn't
was
know
a
what
horse that you couldn't. They had races.
They trotted.
That's right. And if they broke that pace, they broke it. They still have races in Lincoln County Fair with that same stride, That's
right.
So that's what they called. They changed the name to Skyhawks, and they're Skyhawks.
Yeah.
But I went there after 2 years at Freed-Hardeman. I was going to major in ag education because I wanted to be involved in agriculture, but I also wanted to have my teaching certificate so I could coach. Wound up walking on. I didn't have a scholarship at UT Martin to play baseball, and I walked on, made the team, and wound up my senior year was one of the starters that pitched conference games. Back then we were in the Gulf South Conference. UT Martin was in the far northwest part of Tennessee, in Martin, Tennessee, and we had a pretty good baseball team. It was a good experience for me, the team sports, and the coach was an interesting fellow. He had been on the football staff, and all the football staff got fired, and they hired him as the baseball coach.
I got hit a couple of times that I remember here at Middle, but we played at Martin, and they had a linebacker, and I don't remember his last name, but his first name was Hunter. And I was supposed to block him, and he did a forearm shiver into my helmet, and I saw stars for a while.
Was his name Freddie Moore?
No, it was Hunter something.
Hunter? Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember his last name, but I believe we came out on the right side of that score, but I don't know that I remember I got hit so hard.
I remember when I was there, I graduated in 78, and that was when TSU was rolling.
Mm-hmm.
John Merritt was coaching at TSU, and I remember they'd roll into UT Martin. And
it's quite a difference from Freed-Hardeman to UT
it was.
Martin.
Oh, yeah.
It was different. Freed-Hardeman, small school, Christian school, went there on a baseball scholarship.
Yeah.
The coach said, "You come here, you're going to enjoy it." I did. I enjoyed it. Had a good 2 years, but I knew that was going to be it and move on. But I adapted pretty quick. You get involved in things, you can move on. That's a good rule of thumb for young folks today. If you have a change in venue, whatever it is, your parents move, or you change schools, or you change jobs, get in there and get involved and get active, and you'll be fine.
Did you want to talk about any of the things that you were involved in with the state?
Well, today I'm working for the Department of Commerce and Insurance, which is a huge department.
Believe we know, don't
That's
we?
the largest, yeah.
It's a large department. We do
Yeah.
everything from insurance, regulate insurance companies, the fire program, all the different training of firefighters, also the training of police officers for the city of Smyrna and all these cities. We also regulate all these different boards, where it's contractors board, cosmetology, all these different boards. It's just a huge department. 10-care oversight. I even brought a cheat sheet to know it. But it's a lot
There's
of
over
different
50
things.
different ones.
It's a big department. A lot
I
of people.
researched going to work there when I was trying to decide when I was getting out of the police work, because I had extensive work in fire. I'd had my insurance license, and I was a police officer. So I thought, well, it'd be a good state job maybe me to look into. And Wayne taught me and chased me in the insurance world. But
Don't blame me, huh?
yeah.
Well, we all did good. And I did it for nearly 30 years in insurance.
Yeah, I did. You're listening to former state senator Jim Tracy. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back with you in just a minute.
All right, guys, it's Scott. If you're feeling tired, lacking motivation and drive, gaining weight, or noticing a loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone. Don't wait. Find out now. At Low T Center here in Murfreesboro on Medical Center Parkway, they make it easy to get your levels checked. And with their on-site lab, you'll get those results back in about 25 minutes. Low T Center is not a typical doctor's office. Their physicians specialize in treating low testosterone with customized therapy, or TRT, for each patient. The experts at Low T Center have over a decade of experience experience helping patients achieve life-changing results. And most health insurance is accepted for treatment. For established patients with stable T levels, they also offer a convenient physician-monitored self-inject treatment plan that ships directly to your home each month without the need to come into the office for weekly visits. And at Low T Center, you can also get your health evaluated for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. Yep, you can lose weight. Get back to your best. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Where is the best barbecue in town? In 1920, East Main. The best barbecue for miles around is in 1920, East Main. You can buy it by the pound, sandwich, platter, or plate. No matter what you choose, it will taste great. You can come with a friend, by yourself, or with a date. Just Slick Pig Barbecue. Barbecue pork, beef, or chicken, Brunswick stew, great sides, lunch specials, down-home atmosphere, and they cater. Slick Pig Barbecue, it's the best.
Residents enjoy Adams Place.
At Adams Place, they have different things, entertainments, and things that you can get out and keep your mind going.
We're talking with Helen Alexander.
And that's what I like about Adams Place. I think most, although the food, I am very blessed to be here at Adams Place.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place. Phone 615-904-9111. Adams Place.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Let's check those WGNS Good Neighbor events. The Rutherford County Library System is offering free computer classes. The Monday classes are 3:30 in the afternoon, and a different class on Tuesday afternoons at 2:30. The computer classes are at the library's Technology Engagement Center. There are 2 grief support sessions every week. One's on Wednesday mornings at 10 at the St. Clair Street Senior Center, and the other one is a walking grief support group. They meet the next day at 9:30 Thursday mornings in the Picnic Pavilion at Oaklands Park. Again, they're both free. The Rutherford County Historical Society invites you to meet the authors, local history authors. They'll all be at Oakland's Mansion this Sunday from 1 until 3. That's this Sunday, 1 until 3 at Oakland's Mansion. The classic Arsenic and Old Lace starts next week over at the Center for the Arts in Uptown Murfreesboro. And Something Rotten continues through August 17th at the Art Center of Cannon County in neighboring Woodbury. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
We'll see sunny skies here this afternoon, a high in the mid-90s. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear and a low near 72. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 74.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Seriously looking at solar power generation? MTE offers a free consultation with an energy expert and has an entire library of educational resources. To learn more, visit mte.com/prosolar.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the second segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne, except it's Wednesday morning. So we swapped out with Chip Walters, who did a Blue Raider Media Blitz.
By the way, I owe Chip. The time I worked the state tournament basketball, Chip was doing the announcing. You know, he does all the announcing at the state tournament. And I'm refereeing the game, and he's giving me a hard time during the game, Wayne. Can you imagine?
As the announcer?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. By the way, this is former state senator Jim Tracy. I think everybody pretty much recognizes his voice. But again, thank you for being with us again this morning, Senator.
Glad to be here. It's fun to talk about. Time moves fast in life, and
sure does.
It's hard to believe that that we're at this stage in our life. And how fast things has moved. And,
yes, sir.
And we were talking about the state of Tennessee, and we were talking about different issues, but one thing I thought we'd touch on is how blessed we are to be in the state.
Amen.
I go back to when I was elected in 2004, and I go back for decades. Tennessee's been run very well. I mean, you can go back to when John Bragg was a state rep from this area, and Senator Doug Henry. And they were in a different party than me, but they were always conservative with the budget. We had to balance the budget. They were very particular with the budget. And I learned a lot from Senator Doug Henry, and he and I talked about all kind of issues. He was in his 80s when I served with him, and so knowledgeable and wise on state budget stuff. You could talk to him about pretty much anything, and that's why the state's in such good shape compared to other states. Financially, we're in good shape.
So you probably still a senator when the lottery came in.
It came in just as I was getting there that first year. It hit.
So
passed the year before I got there.
That really helped a lot, right?
Well, it helped. It helped definitely on college scholarships and education, the Hope Scholarship. Yeah, there's a lot of money that goes through there. Now, it's not a state program. They have their own corporation and they run it, but the money is given back to educational scholarships and so forth. So, yeah, I think they passed that in 2002, 2003, somewhere in that range.
I mean, it was early 2000s. I just can't remember when.
But, Tennessee is a no state income tax state. Right. We get all our money by sales tax and franchise and excise tax. And a lot of people don't know this. When the legislature goes back in session the second Tuesday in January, their only job, Rick, is to pass a budget, period. And it has to be balanced. You can't spend more than you take in. So it doesn't matter. They don't have to pass another bill. They do. They'll probably pass 1,500 to 2,000 bills every session. A lot of them, in my opinion, don't need to be passed, right. But that's my opinion. But long story short, they have to pass a budget. That's your only, by Constitution, that's what their job is. And we've done a good job of that. And Tennessee people are moving in here right and left. We're getting people from all over the country move in here. There's not a week or two goes by that I don't meet somebody that are new to the area.
Can I throw you a curveball real quick?
Yeah.
And you may or may not have an answer.
Never could hit it very good, but I'll try.
You could throw one.
I can throw one.
Had the gasoline tax increase.
Yeah. 2017.
Right. And, of course, with the electric vehicles, coming on the way they are, basically coming online, they're so heavy, they hurt the road, and they're not buying any gas, so that gas tax that is supposed to go back to the roads. Is anybody talking about that?
Well, it's a good question. Back in 2017, when we did do the gas and diesel tax, let me go over that just a little bit. The average person may not realize that about 46% of the gas tax revenue and diesel tax revenue we get is from out of state. The truckers coming through, people traveling through, so 46%. And all that money is dedicated, like you said, back to the roads. It doesn't go in the general fund, it goes back to the road. We don't borrow money on our roads in Tennessee. Learned that from Senator Henry, and goes way back that we just never have done it, and we were in better shape for not because we don't go in debt. Now, in 2017, we did put a fee on there. There's a $200 fee for a electric vehicle. Now, it's not enough. We figured that at the time because the average car traveled 15,000 miles a year, and we figured the gas tax is about $200 a year. So we put a fee on the electric vehicles of $200. They need to go back and revisit that now, in my opinion. It's probably too low, and because it's a use tax. The gasoline diesel tax is use tax. if you're retired and you drive the grocery store and church and that's about all you do, you're not paying much tax because you're not doing much damage to the road. If you're traveling like I do, 30,000 miles a year, you're paying more gas tax because you're filling your tank up more and you're doing more damage to the roads. It's a use tax or use fee or whatever you want to call it. And but yes, you're right. It's a good point. I probably think they will probably address that this year. They're looking at it.
Okay.
I'm just curious if is it electric only? Because I know there's a huge push for the hydrogen back again.
Yeah, the hydrogen has not got there yet. They haven't made the engines more. When I was there, we met with a lot of the hydrogen people, and they were trying to convert a lot of these big semi-trucks.
That's right.
To liquid.
Town of Smyrna had a couple of pickup trucks that they ran in the street department, and then they, I guess, were seizing up or freezing up, and
we just hadn't got the engine more efficient enough to do it.
Yep.
But yeah.
Okay, I think we got a caller that's called in.
Wants
to talk to you, so we don't do this very much, but we're going to take this.
Who
caller.
we got?
Caller,
hey,
go ahead.
Jim Tracy, this is Zane Cantrell. Are you still running? Zane Cantrell.
Who is this now?
Did you hear that?
No, they just put their headphones on, so Zane, go ahead.
All right, Jim Tracy, this is Zane Cantrell.
Hey, Zane.
I'm just checking to see if you're still running.
I'm still running a little bit, doing more walking than running, but yes, I'm still getting out. I got out this morning, did a little bit before it got too hot. I know you are.
Yeah, well, we're still hitting it in hot weather. We've got a race coming up this weekend, a Strider race. I hope to see you out there.
All right. Well, Zane, good to hear from you, man. You're doing good, I hear.
Okay, well, thank you. It's always good to hear from you.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your comments.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for calling in, Zane.
Bye.
Zane's still running. I used to see him at all the races.
Oh, yeah?
He's a big runner. And he was also a school principal. Do you know that, Brian?
He was in the city system for a long time.
Right.
He's into beekeeping now.
Yes. Zane's a very unique guy, very smart, very engaging. When I was in the Senate, I met with him regular. He was always very engaging with me, telling me about education stuff in particular, because that was his background. Just good guy.
Well, when Rick and I decided to take this on 2.5 years ago, we decided that there was too much to cover, and phone calls can lead to some drag time. So we wanted to kind of keep the show going and enjoy our guests. So we really hadn't gotten into the call-in part. But every now and then we had Butch Campbell, chairman of the Murfreesboro City School Board, call in.
Well, you could have gone all day and not said that.
Yeah.
You know.
But we
there's another one that used to be at the MTSU games when I was we didn't even talk about my officiating.
Yeah,
well, we're going to do that in that final segment.
Yeah, Butch is a good guy. Butch and I have been knowing each other a long time. Just principal at Walter Hill Elementary.
Yep. And we just, in case people were wondering,
I think it's better.
didn't.
You know, you can get a lot more information covered, because calls will drag sometimes.
Yes.
But it's good for Zane to call in.
It was. We're welcome to call in,
but no, it's interesting. A lot of stuff is so interesting in the state. You brought it out early on, and I think Rick talked about it too. When I got involved in whether it's school board, and you were on the school board too. I think y'all had 9 members, right?
7.
Y'all had 7. When you have 7 members, so I'm not good at math, but you had to have 4 to pass something, right?
Yes, sir.
So you had to count 4 votes to get something passed. But usually on the school board and also in the state senate, I was chairman of the Transportation and Safety Committee, and sometimes folks in my own party wasn't going to vote for a bill that I thought was a good bill. I'd go see the couple of guys in the other party. I said, guys, I need y'all's help on this bill. And say, okay, we're going to talk about it. We'll call you back. They called me back that night and said, we'll vote for it. And that's really how it's supposed to work. You're for the betterment of the state. If you can get 80% of what you want, 70% of what you want, then you move on next year to get more. That's the way it's supposed to.
So you being chaired with transportation, why does it take so long for state road projects?
It's a good question.
A lot of people don't understand that. They just think you ask for it now, I'll be 2 weeks starting on it.
When I got there, it was 13 and a half to 14 years to get a road. Wow. The beginning to the end. I think we cut it to 9. Still too long. What causes it? You have to buy right away. And when you buy right away, the discussion on price and, appraisals and all that takes a year or two. Then you have to do engineering and surveying. You have to do environmental. So it just takes so long.
That gets away with a lot.
When you're doing a state budget, there are so many things that you don't know what that number is going to be. Like with road, condemning property, buying property. Is that the rainy day fund to back up things that are unforeseen?
Yeah, you have a rainy day fund in there, but also they'll give you an estimate. There's a committee that comes in with the comptroller and the other folks. They'll come in and they'll tell you in 1st of April, usually, about what they anticipate the revenue going to be for the next year. They may miss it, but you sort of go by that. And since I was involved, we were pretty conservative. We didn't spend all that money. We would say, okay, we estimate this is the amount of revenue you're going to have coming in. You can budget off of this. And we would usually, go under that number to make sure we covered it. So you're right. I mean, there's no guarantee. Since it's sales tax and franchise and excise tax, it can vary from year to year.
Well, when you have Memphis and Clarksville and Chattanooga all sitting on a border of states that their sales tax is not as high as ours,
yep,
you lose some revenue.
Lose a little. Yes, you do. But right here in Middle Tennessee, we've got so much. We got I-40, I-65, I-24. They're all coming right through the state. So and we're in a good geographic location. So a lot of these folks travel right through here. So that helps us with transportation, with gas, with fuel tax.
The commerce and insurance. What do you see coming down the pipe? What's being discussed that would benefit us?
I think insurance is a big topic right now. A lot of companies are coming back for wanting rate increases. Mm-hmm. During the inflationary period, and it's still inflation, the parts of cars went so high, mm-hmm. and it caused the insurance companies were losing money because they didn't get enough money to do it. So I think that's a big topic is insurance. Always fire protection, always police, training of police is important. We do both of those things. Regulation, now I'll tell you, from the last 2 governors, whether it be Governor Lee and Governor Haslam, they're wanting to reduce regulations for businesses to make it easier to do business. But we still have to have some regulations to regulate people, make sure they're licensed properly, making sure people in securities are not taking advantage of folks. So there has to be some regulations there. But I think insurance is probably the hottest topic right now.
I'm still hearing a lot with law enforcement, me being retired. I hear it from my people a lot because a lot of guys are moving around. Obviously, Murfreesboro just got a big pay increase. And some states have instituted where the state is paying. So if you got an officer that moves from one state to another or signs up, there's a state program and they get like a $10,000 bonus, Arizona being one. I think Texas is another one. Has that been thrown around in the commerce? Or
It's been talked about because you're right. Some other states are doing. The good thing for us in Tennessee, people want to move here.
Yeah.
So I think for California, they're losing them. I mean, we're getting guys that retire from California, I guess, after 20 or 25 years, and they're moving here, and they're still wanting to be involved in law enforcement because that's what they've been.
Yep.
Or they want to be involved in the firefighting end of it. Right. So our economy is so good here, and the quality of life is here. They're wanting to move here. So it's interesting. I will tell you, interesting on the law enforcement at the academy we have, and I've had the opportunity to go out there several times to meet the guys as they're training and so forth. And there's one place, Wayne, where they go and they take you in and they'll have a video up. Have you seen it, the interactive video, mm-hmm. where it's an interactive video and you have to either shoot or not shoot? And I mean, some of these legislators, we brought them in last year and they were sort of skeptical, and they wanted to sort of rip on police officers for being. Man, you got to make a split decision.
I was there in the summer of '75, class session 146. I remind.
Did they have cars back then?
Well, they did, but they did not have that interactive video that you're talking. They were just putting in the skid pan.
Horse stable's still out there.
Yeah, they were using horses.
But that was a great experience, and that's an amazing facility too.
And they got the track out there that they teach the guys to drive, and they'll let us ride in those cars. They got one guy out there that unbelievable. He can go backwards faster than I can go forwards around that track. He'll go backwards 60 or 70 miles an hour. He'll scare you to death.
Imagine.
But that shows you. I just think the public needs to know how much training goes in and how it is a split-second decision, Rick. You know
Absolutely.
it. I mean, you could die, or you have to make a decision. It's
and
really,
we're losing more officers now than we ever have because of they're hesitating.
They're hesitating because they're afraid somebody's going to sue them. They're not going back. They're going.
You're going to get charged with murder today.
That's right,
and that's a big deal.
Yep.
So, you listen to former Senator Jim Tracy. We're going to take our second break, and we'll be right back with you in just a minute.
One in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
When the unexpected happens, fire, water, or storm damage, Farrah Construction can help. Farrah Construction is also there to help when a car slams through the wall, and that seems to happen more often these days. I'm Ron Hall. Let our family at Farrah Construction help you. Call Farrah Construction and we'll board up, put down tarps, secure your home or business until the insurance coverage is approved. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary, just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
And welcome back to the third and final segment of Tuesday mornings with Rick and Wayne, except we're doing Wednesday morning this time to be convenient for the Raider Blitz that Chip did yesterday. So it's our pleasure this morning to have former State Senator Jim Tracy with us, and I think we may have another call. Is that correct, Brian?
Caller, go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
How are y'all today?
Good.
We're doing good, Butch. Are you on your best behavior? It's Wednesday today.
I'm doing my best, Jim. I'm kind of like you. I take it only one day a week. So that way I don't have to worry about it. Hey, I just want to say thank you to you and Wayne and Rick for your public service. You did a wonderful job, and we appreciate both of you, all of you.
You,
well, thank you,
well.
Butch. Appreciate. Thank you for what you did. I remember when you were principal at Walter Hill. I had to come out there and.
Yeah, we're having a 100-year celebration reunion coming up Saturday. Should be a lot of fun.
Wow.
Butch, can you give the times and dates on that? I saw it online, and I knew it was this Saturday, but I don't remember what time it was.
What is Saturday? The 10th, I think, from 11 to 1.
Yes, sir. And that's at Walter Hill Elementary School, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Been there 100 years.
Ought to be a
I
crowd.
haven't been there that long.
Just felt like it, didn't it?
Well, at times, yes, but not always. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Y'all have done a wonderful job for the community, and I do appreciate all of you.
Well, thank you, Butch. Thanks for your long-time friendship, and thanks for harassing me all these years. I usually come back at you too.
Well, you need to come watch the Raiders play a little bit this year.
I will. I'll be back. I'm gonna be back. I got to keep an eye on you. Make sure you run the clock right. When I was refereeing, you'd always wouldn't keep the clock running. I had to go tell you to start it back.
Have you ever ejected a clock keeper?
That's because you didn't want to give any more time than you had to.
That's exactly right. I learned that from Tommy Eads. You're exactly right.
I talked to Tommy yesterday.
Well, good. Tommy's a good man. Good man.
Good man. Doing well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Butch.
All righty.
Have a good
y'all
day.
have a good rest of the day.
Since we're talking about, things like officiating and stuff, I got to hang out with good friend Tim Tackett for a little while yesterday, and I told him that you were going to be on the show, and he said, well, you can remind him. And he gave me a little, I don't know if he said heartburn or heartache when he was coaching. So, but
he was at Laverne, I believe. I think he coached girls at Laverne.
Yeah, I think you're right. And but he bragged on you. He said you were an excellent official, but he knew when to stop. You would let him and others chirp at you to a point, but then when you put that hand up, they better stop.
Yeah, Tim was a good coach. I remember working for him. Actually, I think I had him in the tournament a couple times and did a real good job. Yeah, Tim, most coaches, we're all human beings, and we're all not going to be perfect as officials or coaches. We're not going to make the right call sometimes, but Tim understood that. We always had a good running conversation usually during the game, and said, Tim, I'll watch that. And I said, I'll definitely watch it. But I'll tell you a couple of funny stories. When I was first year I refereed in college basketball, Western Kentucky's guy named Paul Sandiford was the coach. He's a legendary women's coach at Western.
Better dead than red.
And they had a really good team that year. They were loaded, and they always had big crowds, 3,000 or 4,000 people there. And I had the game, and I made the call. I'll never forget it. And I was right in front of the bench, and I said, white, 23, player control. We're going the other way. And it was right in front of Coach Sandiford. He jumped up, and he pointed at me right in my face. He said, Jim, I said, first of all, he knows my name. That's scary if they know your name. He didn't say ref or official. He said, Jim? I said, yes, sir. He said, let me tell you, that was a great call. That was a great call, but these people in this gym, they paid for me to yell at you. He's pointing at me and yelling at me. That was a great call, but I'm yelling at you. And the crowd started booing and throwing stuff, and I said, that's got it, Coach, and then we moved on. We never – that's the kind of guy he was.
That's funny.
But all right, here's a hard question.
All right.
Who's the best player that you ever refereed and watched?
Ooh, that's some good ones. I can tell you that I had Fred Jenkins one night down in Lincoln County. He played for Columbia and then went on to play at UT. I saw him on a free throw. He was in not the closest to the box, but the next one. He dunked it. He caught it with one hand, dunked it. He was good. Ron Mercer was great.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
he was great.
Him.
I remember him. Ron Slay was good. I had him in AAU. Those are the ones right off the top of my head that were really good. I mean, they could just take over a basketball game. Ron Mercer, I remember he hit like 7 threes in the fourth quarter that game I had. They were sort of lollygagging around. They were loaded. Slay was on that team. Ron Slay was. And, I mean, he just took it over. He could just do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Fred was such an athlete. Fred Jenkins was such an athlete. Both those guys were tremendous athletes.
So what conference
did I work?
Yes, sir.
Sunbelt at that time was what MTSU was in. I did the OVC, Sunbelt, Atlantic Sun, junior college, and Trans-South at that time, which was Lipscomb, Belmont. You know, that time they had.
Did you ever do the Boulevard game with Lipscomb and Belmont?
No, I did not have that game. I had a bunch of games, and Rick Byrd was coaching it. Oh, another one with Vince Gill. Vince Gill was big buddies with Rick Byrd, and he was a big Belmont. He was awful during the game. Awful. He was like Jekyll and Hyde. He'd start yelling at you during the game. And I told my buddy when in at halftime, I said, I'm going to take care of Vince second half. Sure enough, we had timeout, and I'm standing right in front of Coach Byrd at the bench. And Vince always sat about 2 rows behind Coach Byrd. They were big golfing buddies. And he was chirping. And I looked up, and I'd gone in at halftime, and I had an extra whistle. And I said, hey, Vince, you want a referee? Here's a whistle. And I took that whistle, and I threw it up at him, and he caught it. He never said another word. It embarrassed him. But I never had the Belmont. I had Belmont and Lipscomb a lot, but never had the big game.
That's just kind of, for the smaller schools.
Oh, it's big.
That's such a neat rivalry. And, of course, back in my time, back in the 70s, with the OVC, with Tech and
Middle and Tech.
Well, and that Tech and Middle rivalry is being renewed, and the totem pole is back, and it's just, I miss those games with Eastern Kentucky and Western Kentucky and Murray and Moorhead and Austin Peay, and it's just, they were just great rivalries.
Yeah, I went to all those schools, officiated on the road. Moorhead. You ever driven to Moorhead?
Well, did on team bus. Yeah.
Well, I drove over and refereed. That's the last game I worked in the OVC. Rick, you'll like this story. It was cold, snowy that day up in Moorhead, Kentucky. There wasn't many people there. Pep band was playing. I knew this was going to be my last year, so I sort of started directing the pep band a little bit. And the word got out to my supervisor. They wasn't happy about that.
I bet.
But,
yeah.
You got to have fun doing it.
Well, just some unique facilities like Moorhead, and I don't know about now, but at that time it was an older field, and it was a raised football field.
That's right.
And if you got tackled or knocked out of bounds, you'd roll down the hill into the sidelines at Moorhead.
That's right.
And then at Murray, it was like a soccer stadium. There was just seating only on one side at that time. And I think somebody told me that is still the case at Murray, that there's seating. So all the visitors and home team are all sitting on one side, which is kind of like a soccer game.
That's right. They were all different. All the places were different. The fans were engaging always, even in these smaller colleges. It was fun. I mean, a lot of rivalries.
Well, West Kentucky and the Little Red Barn, I mean, they were right there on the court.
Right there on you. And I tell you, some of the big ones I remember having MTSU and TSU basketball. And at that time, it was a big rivalry. And, I mean, I had a home game there with MTSU, and then they packed it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, when Fly Williams played for Austin Peay, that was a big deal too.
Big deal.
Back in the 70s,
Coach Earl with his plaid coat.
Right. I mean, we got to come as students. We got to come to the games, and it was standing room only in those days. Even
Lake Kelly was a coach at Austin Peay. Do you remember Lake?
I remember now. I hadn't thought of that name in quite a while.
But that was some fun times back then where people really went to the games.
I wish that would come back. I tell my daughter, she's graduated from high school now, that how Smyrna High would pack the gym. It was just amazing.
Well, and my son played baseball at Middle and played for Coach Pete, and there were always good crowds when he played. I mean, I went to nearly all the games, and so much fun to go to baseball games. And
well, with the renovations they're doing, the kind of making it more of a more friendly setting for fans to come to not only the football games, but they're doing things at Murph as well. So I'm hopeful that we can get some butts in the seats again.
The good thing about me, my skin's pretty thick, Wayne. I've been called a lot of names in the political arena, Rick. I've been told a lot of things, and then officiating for sure.
I want you to wear a badge for a week and say,
I don't know if I could do that. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Any highlight? We're here at the end of the show, Senator, that you'd like to kind of share that occurred in your career that you'd like to remind people?
I will tell one that was interesting, and then I know we got to go. But when I was a state senator in my district, I had a group of really ladies that had been sending me emails about they were really tired of going into restaurants and smelling smoke.
Oh yeah.
They wanted restaurants to be non-smoking, and I passed that legislation. It took a 2-year period of time to do it.
I did not realize that. Congratulations.
Well, it was the right thing to do.
Sure.
And, I went to Cracker Barrel. I said, why don't y'all just do it without a law? Oh, we don't want to be the bad guy. We want to blame it on you.
Right.
But at the end of the day, a year later, the guy that ran Cracker Barrel at the time told me, he said, our revenue went way up because people were standing in line for non-smoking, and they had all the smoking section that was empty. And people didn't want to go in there and smell smoke.
Sure.
And that's where you listen to constituents. Now, some people thought we were doing away with freedom and they didn't like it, but I said, look, I just think it's the right thing to do health-wise to get smoking out of restaurants.
Well, it's kind of like seatbelts, that
same deal.
When seatbelts came on, of course, that was, I was younger then, but you would have thought, you were taking away the right to vote. But I mean, just a smart thing to do.
That's right.
What about the I just lost my train of thought. I was thinking about seatbelt laws and how hard that was when that come on to start enforcing that, because we didn't want to enforce it for a long time.
I know.
And finally,
I texted him while driving.
That's another huge.
I passed that bill too.
And the points on your license on texting and driving, we run into that insurance when you run those
it's
MVRs.
It's a big deal today.
And you get that ticket. It's just as bad as a reckless driving ticket if you
we
get
passed that in
driving.
07. I think 07, and we passed non-smoking maybe a year before that. In the store and in the restaurants.
Well, Senator, God bless you for your service.
Well, God bless you, Wayne. It's fun to be with y'all. Rick try to keep him, under control. At his age, he may wander off.
I may be calling you to help at times.
He may want a different partner, somebody smarter.
Yeah, thank you a lot for being with us.
Oh, glad to do it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank everybody for listening to us. Hope you enjoyed our Wednesday edition of this. We'll be back on a regular time of Tuesday next week.
Next Tuesday.
And, everybody have a great week, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday.